trophy, and he said it shouldn't really. He said he said he wasn't really deserving of it because it was Klopp's team. He just saw.
Um,
He said if there's anyone to thank, it was Jurgen Klopp because he did it. He said thank Jurgen Klopp for this wonderful team that is laid down for him to just
mm,
is a ready-made team that was going to win the title, and I felt so much respect for him because he could have
mm,
easily said, "Yeah, I'm a great manager. I worked hard. I did this and I did that." But he didn't say that. He just gave he gave the due credit to where I never saw it that way, but he made me say it that way, and I had so much respect for him, and that's one thing that I would take going forward, because I didn't really know him, like you said. Nobody knew who he was before. He was
mm.
quite way under the radar. But he said that now, and I'm thinking, I like this guy. I like people that are humble and
Yeah.
appreciate and yeah, and they're not self-centered, selfish and stuff like that. Yeah, so I quite like that about him. Now, any Aluko.
Mm,
She's, I don't know what's going on in her head. I don't know
yeah.
why you would come up with something like that. We've always allowed, well, not allowed, but there's always been women punditry in the men's game. You don't have to. I think it backfired on her anyway because she was trying to stir up what wasn't there. And when I saw that, I thought, shame on you, girl. You were a great girl for England. I respected you when you played in an England
Mm,
shirt. I did like her because she was a good player when she played in the
mm.
England women's team. When I saw that, I thought, you know, I'm just thinking it's just a mistake. It's an honest mistake. But she hasn't come out to apologize for it yet. So I'm still on the fence.
Well, she has, in a way, to be fair to her, she has made a sort of apology, perhaps
All
not
right. Okay.
not not the not the degree of apology that Ian Wright might have liked. No, she
Right.
had. She came out and said a couple of days ago and said that it was in an interview she was having on the BBC Woman's Hour, I think, on the radio,
Right.
and clearly she was discussing and being asked various questions about the women's game.
Right.
And what she said in this apology was that in this interview, she said she was trying to make a broader point that male pundits in the women's game
Yeah.
might be stopping women coming through as pundits in the women's game. Basically, that seemed to be what it was. And she actually said it originally in the interview that she felt Ian Wright was kind of possibly inhibiting other women coming through because he was sort of taking quite a significant role. Now,
Right.
her apology explained that she said, I was trying to make a broader point. She didn't actually say, I noticed, I shouldn't really have mentioned Ian Wright by name. She just said it was wrong that Ian's name was mentioned. It was almost like a third party, so someone else did that. But so I felt it wasn't a proper apology. But she just really said I was trying to make a broader point. Now, of course, the upshot of that was, again, a couple of days ago now, Ian was asked about it when he was on a pundit about it when he was on a pundit role in one of the games, I think a men's game. And he said, "Well, look, I keep being asked about it. I don't want this to be taken forward. He said, but she's made an apology, but I can't accept it. He obviously wasn't happy with what she'd said, but he said, he said, I don't want to keep being asked about it. He said,
And
she
yeah,
knew,
Aluko,
she knows
yeah,
that I've supported her. And of course, it came out as well that he's also been supporting, I think her name is Stephanie McDonald, a Sheffield United player who had an ACL cruciate injury.
yeah,
And initially, her club, sorry, it was Sheffield United. If I'm wrong, I apologise. They didn't want to pay for her rehabilitation costs, but they then agreed to. But when she reached a certain stage, they withdrew. They said, no, we're not paying any more costs of rehabilitation, which seems incredible to me that, a club, she was a professional at that club,
yeah.
still is, I think, and they said they wouldn't pay. Well, who stepped in and paid £1,700 a month for those costs ongoing? Ian Wright did. You
All
see,
right.
so he's always been, as you've watched the women's games as I have, and
Yeah.
he's often there as a pundit. He's been very, very supportive, probably more than most male pundits, about the women's game. He's just advocates, let's really bring this higher and more impact on people. So he clearly is an absolute advocate for the women's game. So what she was thinking about in even daring to say or even thinking something like that is kind of mind-boggling. And I think that's what, I mean, she has had a bad reaction, a backlash on X and on other things. And the ITV came out the other day and said that Ian is beyond, I think they said beyond criticism, something to that effect, because of how much he does do. And they couldn't really understand why she had said what she said. Now, in fact, I was read this morning that she's withdrawn from being one of the hosts with Gabby Logan and I can't remember the other person, but a male, I can't think of what his name is, at the Female Women's Football Awards. I think they're on tomorrow night somewhere, and she was due to be one of the hosts. Well, she's withdrawn, and the chances are she's been asked to withdraw because she said she doesn't want to kind of be a distraction for all the women deserving of praise and prizes for their role in the women's game. So she's come out of that, and there's every chance, which is a shame in a way for her, that ITV could well drop her from its pundits list. As you said earlier, she was a good footballer. She played for England, I think, over 100 times.
Yeah.
So she was good. She went through a lot of stuff with Joey Barton, which I think she's suing him for libel about stuff he said. I mean, I don't really know enough about that to make a comment. I wouldn't want to make a comment either way. It just perhaps doesn't help her case about anything if she's come out critically like this. Ian Wright did also make a very good point. He said, the men. He said we have to accept, we have to hold that we banned women from playing football for 50 years, which we did, I think, from the 20s to about the 70s. Well, okay, it's a bit like countries having to pay reparation for past sins of its generations a couple of hundred years ago. It's not the current generation of men footballers or politicians who banned women. But I take Ian's point, it was a male thing. So maybe there's a hangover in the minds of some women that, hey, we were banned from even playing this game for 50 years. So, it's important that men now do show the encouragement, which I think there is. I think there's a lot of encouragement. A lot of people believe in the women's game, as you and I do. But there we are. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is all we've got time for. Time flies when you're having fun, they say. Do you want to do the closing remarks this time, Rob, please?
Yes, well, as I say, quite a few subjects there which we tried to get our teeth into. We hope you enjoyed it, if that's the word, as we went along. Anyway, I've been Trevor Gear, and he calls me Bruv.
And I've been Emmy Hikins, and he calls me Cuz. So you've been watching and listening to The Football Referee. Join us again at the same time next week. It's a goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.